Hi, I'm Shelley Young, owner of the chopping block, and today I'm going to teach you how to make pot roast. The first step in making pot roast is to actually pick out your meat. We're going to use a chuck roast today, but you can use a blade roast as well. Ask your butcher and they'll help you pick the right cut. And we're going to use a technique which is called braising to cook our pot roast. And the first step in that is to actually brown the meat, and then we're going to cook it slowly with a little bit of liquid. And I've seasoned it pretty aggressively with sea salt and fresh cracked black pepper. And you'll notice next to the roast here I have a dish that has just all-purpose white flour in it. And I want to keep the salt and pepper on the meat versus seasoning the flour. I love this technique because you know exactly how much is getting on the meat. You're also not throwing away any of those expensive spices along with your flour. My pan is preheated to a medium-high heat. And what I'm going to do here is add 3 tablespoons of grapeseed oil. See how I measure that? I'm going to take my pot roast, dredge it in the flour. The flour, what that does is it really helps in browning on the beef, and it thickens the juices in the sauce. It's the perfect sizzle. So I'm going to let that cook until it's nice and golden brown on the other side, probably about 5 minutes. So I believe our pot roast is beautifully browned. Oh yeah. So I'm going to flip that now. For this recipe I've got 1 cup of crushed, these are San Marzano tomatoes, but a crushed tomato is fine. This is whole thyme dried, 2 teaspoons. We're going to use a teaspoon of Tabasco, and we have 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. The other thing we need is a onion slice. So our pot roast is nice and brown on both sides. The first thing I'm going to put in is the onion. Just sprinkle that all around the sides and on top of the roast. We add our red wine vinegar. I like to put that around the side so it glazes the pan. And then just kind of sprinkle the tomatoes around. Our dried thyme. And our Tabasco. You can add a little more if you like a little dip. So I don't need to mix this any further. All I'm going to do is cover this cast iron pan. If you don't have a cast iron pan, use something that has a really tight fitting lid that really holds in the steam. So our pot roast has been cooking for about 3.5 hours now, and it's at 350 degrees. What I want to do is pull this out of the oven and take the meat and pull up and make sure it's nice and tender. All right, let's check this. Oh my gosh. Look at this. I'm going to check and make sure this pot roast is just falling apart, which it is. Look at that, beautifully tender. Gorgeous sauce. And this pot roast is ready to go. That is how you cook a pot roast.